Hi guys, how are you? I'm doing great actually. It's a Wednesday night. I'm drinking some wine. I'm so ready for tonight. Anyways, I'm just gonna preface by saying I'm gonna start doing shorter form content. One, because I'm a beginner YouTube channel. And two, I am also tired of taking 6 to 7 hours to edit a 40 to 45 minute video down to 30 to 20 minutes. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to continue to edit like a madman for the rest of this time. But anyways, I noticed that my scary stories video ended up getting the most views out of all of the ones on my channel. So, I'm doing another one. Part 2, baby. Let's go. What is your most scary / weird experience? And this is under the paranormal Reddit forum. Somebody says, not unexplainable or paranormal, but creepy nonetheless. One of my earliest memories, I always believed it was the memory of a nightmare or something until I told my parents about it a few years ago. I was maybe 5 or 6. I remember waking up suddenly in the middle of the night because something was in my room. I opened my eyes and the room was very dark, just a little light from a pole outside across the street. But in the corner by my closet was a crouched black shadow. No, that's too much. No, you're playing with me now. There's no freaking way. At first, I believed I'd seen a chair piled up with clothes or something, but my parents denied that there was a chair in my room back then. Oh dear God. Oh no. Anyways, I could feel it looking at me, watching me. No, the shadow smiled.
Child. Anyways.
Oh my God. I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, I feel like I would be like paralyzed in fear. I saw a mouthful of long yellow teeth and then shining eyes in the dark. I just watched in stunned horror. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, it began to become clearer. It was the size of a medium-sized dog, but it wasn't a dog. It had arms and fingers, no neck, just a head on shoulders. I don't even know what you would even do in that situation. Or like someone hunched over. I was so scared. I remember crawling out of my bed and creeping to the door, back to the wall, watching me the entire time, but it didn't move. It just watched me leave and turned its head to follow me as I did. I closed the door and went to the living room where the TV was still on, and I laid down on the floor with the light and slept there until the morning. Years later, I'm talking to my parents about random things, and I mentioned this. As I said earlier, I always thought it was just the memory of a nightmare I'd had as a child. Oh my God, don't tell me there's more about this. This is too much. But my mom looked at me a little funny and said, "Oh wow, I can't believe you remember that." I said, "Wait, what? That actually happened?" Of course I was freaked out. Then my mom says, "Yeah, that was your great-grandmother's orangutan. She'd been fostering her, and at some point in the night, she got out and went to your room." Wait, what the How do you have an orangutan? How do you casually... That's crazy. She loved you so much and she was probably checking on you and you locked her in. Imagine all those years I'd believed that it was everything from a nightmare to an actual demon trying to steal my soul. But the whole time it was just the juvenile orangutan my great-grand fostered for a few months when I was 5, sneaking into my room in the night. Jesus Christ. Low-key, that's actually more dangerous. The fact that it was an orangutan. It makes me think about chimpanzees. My boyfriend talks about this shit all the time, where chimpanzees are easily the worst creatures that you can try to take care of because they can easily get aggressive. Take that one case of that one lady that ended up getting her face bitten off because of that. I know this is different from an orangutan, but still, it's scary to even see that at night. Like, that's actually insane. How do you casually keep an orangutan? That's something I cannot comprehend. Absolutely not. Okay. When I was 14, my parents and I took a trip to Los Angeles and stayed in this hotel. We didn't book expensive because we were only passing through, so the hotel was kind of run down. The elevator sometimes wouldn't close. We stayed for a day and it was good, but it was exactly at 3:10 in the morning when the thing happened. It's always at 3 o'clock, isn't it? It's always around that time. You know how sometimes you wake up and just instantly know the time, like you have an internal clock? I was right on when I actually checked the time. I had this gut-clenching feeling, kind of like I was paralyzed, but I knew I didn't have sleep paralysis or anything like that, so it was strange. We were on one of the higher floors and there was a community bathroom in the hall. This laughing suddenly started coming from the ceiling and I was freaking the fuck out because my parents were still asleep. Like resonating through the ceiling and the walls, this really faint childish laughter. I honestly don't know what possessed me to do it, but I went to the window and I opened it because I just had this sense that something wasn't right. I looked to my left and I saw this woman open her window. I can only see that she was wearing this nightgown and brown hair that kind of shielded her face. It was really dark other than the city lights. And I kid you not, she turned and jumped out the fucking window. I swear to God, she jumped right in front of me and I heard screaming on the way down. Immediately, I started screaming too and my parents woke up and I told them what had happened. We immediately went to reception and they called the police. Police got there, went to where I said she had jumped and found nothing. No body, no anything. They went to the room a couple down from ours to the left and it wasn't even occupied. Found out later after we got home that the hotel was the Hotel Cecile. Scariest situation I've ever been in. Apparently, there were several people who have jumped from windows from that hotel. And apparently, this same person fell from floor 12.
What the hell?
That's crazy. Wait, hold on. I want to do some more digging into this. There's literally a section of this that talks about paranormal events at the hotel. No fucking way. No way. This is the same hotel of that one girl that was found in that water tank. There's no way. Are you shitting me right now? And there's people that talk about how there's like other shit that happened there with people jumping out of windows and stuff. But oh my God, that one with the girl in the water tank. Oh my God, that's actually mind-boggling. Okay, next one. I saw a creature and years later, my sister did too.
Huh?
When I was about 5, I was sleeping in my bed and I wake up and see what I can only describe as a lizard person standing at the end of my bed. He had the height and body of a man, like bipedal arms and legs, etc. Dark green with fine smooth scales like a snake. No clothing and no genitalia or anything. Why did it make me think of that one villain from My Hero Academia? Spinner, that's his name. I was like, why am I thinking of Spinner? Oh my God. And people split like a cat. His legs are spread, shoulders width apart, and his arms are held out his side like a T. Think the Vitruvian man pose. I'm assuming it's like a T pose. He smiles and stares at me and I close my eyes. When I open them, he's gone. Fast forward about 20 years. I'm 25 and my youngest sister, who is 7 years younger than me and wasn't alive at the time of the event, is visiting my place. We are telling ghost stories and I asked her if she's ever seen anything strange. She thought for a minute and said that at once, when she was about 5, she woke up in the middle of the night to see the figure of a person standing in front of her window, legs, shoulders width apart, and arms out like a T. It was standing in front of a window, so it was backlit and appeared to just be as a shadow. She ducked her head under the covers, and when she looked again, he was gone. Now her event happened in a totally different state over a decade after my encounter. She was so much younger than me that I can't imagine I'd ever told her my story as kids or anything, nor did she remember me telling her my story. That's fucking weird. I have no idea what happened, but the distinctive pose is so unusual. Yeah, that's a little bizarre, especially like that same pose. It's kind of like if you didn't tell your sister about that and if you guys had relatively similar experiences, then that's a little off. Back in the late 1990s, I used to supervise a crew doing trauma scene work. We would go into buildings after homicide, suicide, unattended deaths, accidental deaths, fire death, or pretty much any messed up thing that could happen inside a building, home, or office. The following story had on one of those scenes. I have a few others that have really stuck with me, but this one is probably more the works of evil spirits than others that were just sad. We often got dispatched out, sometimes with little details, only like vehicle damage to structure with fatality or fire damage structure with multiple fatalities. Sometimes it was very vague, like death inside home. We were dispatched to a single family house in the outskirts of Los Angeles, a working class neighborhood with homes built probably in the early 1950s. Not a bad rundown section, but just an area where families lived, quiet, unassuming area. We arrived to the site. It was a ranch-style home with a sweeping driveway to the street. The garage door was open, and an older lady was sitting inside the garage smoking. I walked up to her and introduced myself and said, "I am sorry for your loss. We are here to help clean up and do whatever we can to help you." I can tell she is nervous, but in most of these situations, we run into people crying, shock, or just stone quiet and unable to speak. Most of the time, they have someone there to help them, like a family friend, family member, or neighbor. However, she was all alone. She looked very uneasy, and I can see that she has a sofa, TV on stand, and clothes piled up in her garage. I asked her if she would like to show me the area where the incident occurred. She said to me, "I'm not going back in that house." She then points to a front bedroom window and said that is the room. I did not know what happened there. As usual, I wasn't given much details. Not that I needed to know, but sometimes it helped knowing if we were dealing with a murder, suicide, or child death. I feel like we're about to unwrap something not just unhinged, but horrible. I'm a little nervous about this. I start to ask her if there was anything in that room that might be affected that she would like for us to save or secure for her. She said she didn't care about anything in that house and she was not going back inside. I was just thinking to myself, this is probably pretty typical. No one likes to go back inside where loved ones were lost. She starts to tell me a story that made my hair on the back of my neck stand up. She said that her son killed himself in that room. She said that there were evil spirits in that house. I just said, "I am sorry." She said, "No, you don't understand." She said that a year ago, her other son killed himself inside the house too. The demons attacked him and took him too. She also said that a few years before that, her husband killed himself in that house too. Oh my God. So you're telling me like this is like something that she's lived through under that same family and under that same house. Oh my God. To me and all the people I have met in situations where loved ones were lost, you get a sense of grief and sometimes mental illness. I didn't get mental illness from her. What I got was a poor woman scared out of her mind. I asked her if she wanted me to call anyone for her. She said that either a family member or a friend was coming to take her away. I can't remember exactly what she said. Now I'm thinking, like, I don't blame her for not wanting to go back into that house because let's say, like, if there is something going on there and 3 people ended up dying from suicide, and if there's certain things going on that suspect paranormal activity, God, that's so... I asked her to sign our paperwork allowing us to do what we needed to do and asked her if there was anything she wouldn't want us to dispose of. She said, "You could just burn this place down for all I care." Damn. Yeah, I mean, do I blame her though? No, I don't. If that's what happened, that's crazy. I gathered my crew and we suited up to go inside. We entered the room and it was a smaller bedroom, blue painted walls, a little messy on the side. There was a pool of blood at the foot of the bed, vomit on the bed, and on one side of the bedroom walls, the entire wall was written in blood? Wait, what the fuck just happened? What? Okay, first of all, if he passed from suicide, what the fuck did he do to get to this point? Because when people usually pass away from suicide, a lot of times it doesn't really involve blood being everywhere like that. Oh, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. Like, I partially, like, don't want to talk more about this, but this is just wild. This is depressing. We could only make out some words as it almost didn't seem like it was in English. We later found from a neighbor that the son, who was an adult son, had drank acid and slit his throat and expired sitting on the bed. I'm actually dissociating a little bit it feels like I have to protect myself a little bit from hearing this. This is fucking nuts. We cut out the carpet, wrapped the mattress up, and cleaned up the room so that there was no longer any traces of what was left behind. During the time we worked, the old lady took off and we locked up the house. The thing is, we were in the house for a few hours, and the feelings inside the house was like that of being in a cave or something. The air was thick. The smell inside the house was sick. More than stale, but pungent and foul. We all felt like we wanted to get out of there in a hurry. The way that the old lady was scared to go back inside, the fact that her house took her husband and 2 sons. I had not been a huge believer in evil lingering inside a place until then. I honestly felt it and still remember it today. See, hearing stuff like this, there's a part of me that believes in spirits but also doesn't. But hearing shit like this, if this happened with 3 people, some people may argue it's a form of mental illness. Maybe that somehow played a role in it. I don't know. But regardless of how this came to be, this is horrible. This is tragic. I cannot believe this is a reality for someone. Next one, and I'm hoping this is a little bit more lighter on the end. When I was 8, I moved cross country. This caused a lot of stress and anxiety, so the only real explanation I have for this would be stress-related hallucinations. That said, fuck if I know. Anyway, for a few months, not quite every night, but often enough to really bother me, I'd wake up in the middle of the night to the following. My bedroom door would slowly creak open, and a member of my family would come into my room. Sometimes my mom, sometimes my stepdad, sometimes it was me. They'd almost tiptoe into my room like a cartoon villain about to commit some tomfoolery. This was scary to my 8-year-old brain. I feel like I already know where this is going, but I'm gonna continue. After entering and looking at me for a moment, I'd usually try to engage with them, like asking why they were in my room or asking them to leave once I knew they weren't my real family. Once I engaged with them, they always said the same thing in the same weirdly predatory voice, like they were trying to comfort me, but it was a grown male voice coming from my mom, sister, or me. The voice didn't match my stepdad either. They always said happy warm, but with emphasis on warm, like they were wishing it on me. Then I'd feel a blast of heat, but it never felt comforting. My mind always interpreted it as feeling the fires of hell for a moment because I thought these might have been demons. My mom and I laid down some salt lines in my room and burned some sage after I finally had the courage to tell her this. Damn, I'm glad you did, because if I were your mom, I'd probably do the same shit. The events stopped when we did this. Wait, that's kind of crazy, actually. Shit was freaky. I'm afraid of doppelgangers, skinwalkers, all that sort of shit. Okay, that was all. I'm tired. I had to do this 2 different days because my computer was acting like an asshole. And it's for the betterment for me in editing because, yeah, I'm tired of editing for 4 to 5 hours, and especially with me being a small creator, I'm just like, yeah, fuck that. But for now on, I'm gonna stick to shorter form content so that way it's more consistent. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate you. If you liked the video, give it a like. I appreciate you, and I hope you guys take care. Bye!